everybody. Come on in. We're gonna talk a little bit. I know it's a weird time and all, but I just happen to be available right now. So, and I've been doing all kinds of research on Mayor Pete. So, I want to talk to you guys about a lot of what I've figured out and discovered about old Mayor Cheat. And I figured we'd talk about anything else you guys want to, like usual. But come on in and we'll hang out. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Jack. Hey, Dolores. Good to see some people are actually here. I figured it was a weird time for a chat. But I want to show some stuff I've found about Mayor Pete. And I think one of the best ways to preface it is with a video that I just made on Mayor Pete. I shared it. It hasn't really taken off yet, but I did a lot of digging to make that video. So the title's a little misleading. You know, it's like, let's meet Mayor Pete. But I wanted it to be, because I want people to come in and get the truth about Mayor Pete. You know, I didn't want it to be in your face that this is an expose on Mayor Pete, but it is. So there's a YouTube video I'm going to show you, my YouTube video that I made on Mayor Pete. We're going to look at that. Then afterwards, we're going to talk more about Mayor Pete. I have some articles pulled up I want to look at with you guys, and we're going to go into a bunch of stuff on Pete Buttigieg. I think it's time we meet this establishment CIA shill and get to know him a little bit and find out what we're up against here, especially since now he's starting to slander the Bernie Sanders campaign and accuse us of dark money, which we'll get into here in a little bit. I want to show you what this propaganda that Buttigieg has a background in looks like. We're going to go into a lot of that stuff, but thanks for coming and thanks for hanging out with me. I really didn't know if there would be much here because of the time, but let me bring this in and we are going to look at this video I made. Pardon the space age features here. Let me turn off the music. I had to create that little music. I'm kind of proud of it. You know, I make these little bumpers for the shows because you have to make your own music. You can't use licensed music or they'll pull your videos. This is a video I made on Mayor Pete Buttigieg. And I want us to watch it together really quick because this is going to give us a lot of insight into the things I'm going to get into here in a minute. It's a lot of backstory that we need. So we're going to watch this real quick. This is the video I made for my YouTube channel and, you know, to get out there and expose the truth about Mayor Pete. And I'm going to sit here and watch it with you. But this is all information I dug up. And we need to find more. We need to get more information on Mayor Pete. And there's plenty out there. I've been digging on him only for 2 days. And I've found a substantial amount. So let's watch this. And then we'll talk afterwards. An unlikely star is rising in the Democratic Party. Well, according to the media and the DNC's recent rigging in the Iowa caucus with the use of the Shadow app. And his name is Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Now, this charismatic young gay military veteran is sweeping the nation, according to the lying and deceitful mainstream media channels, even though in recent polling he has lived in 4th and 5th place. But now, the establishment and the media seem to be rushing to anoint him, so that piqued my interest a bit, and I decided to get to know Mayor Pete. And in this special episode of Conspiracy Theories and Chill, we're going to take an in-depth look into this rising political star. Pete Buttigieg is a very polished politician for being only 37 years old, with a stellar resume. He's bright, articulate, speaks 7 languages. He went to almost every Ivy League school, and he seems to have been given every advantage in life. Now, after his Ivy League education, his first job was for the Cohen Group, a military lobbying group run by former high-level national security officers. The Cohen Group, founded by Clinton administration Secretary of Defense William Cohen, lobbies for the military-industrial complex and brags on their website that they have generated tens of billions of dollars in lucrative defense contracts for their clients. At this time, Pete also became involved with the Truman National Security Project from its inception in 2005, serving as a member of its board of advisors. The Truman National Security Project is a Washington, D.C. based think tank that is comprised of mostly military personnel, military industrial complex lobbyists, and diplomats that advise the national intelligence agencies and conduct training in national security issues. Buttigieg is still involved with the Truman National Security Project and listed online as a fellow member with expertise in Afghanistan and Pakistan. Now, Mayor Pete's second job was with McKinsey and Company, a cult-like management consulting firm, and those are from Pete's own words, that is known for grooming the elite. Pete did a 3-year term with McKinsey and Company, which makes him part of their alumni network, a network that is said to be as loyal as the alumni network of Harvard, and I feel is comparable to that of Skull and Bones, boasting 70 Fortune 500 CEOs among its list of members. Now, what does McKinsey and Company do, you might ask? Well, they are the single greatest legitimizers of mass layoffs, and they are also well known as a mercenary for the world's most unethical corporations and governments, including Saudi Arabia. They manufacture and distribute propaganda for big pharma and are credited with turbocharging the opioid epidemic. Now, at the same time that he was at McKinsey, hold your hats because this guy's really ambitious. At the same time that he was with McKinsey and Company, he was in naval intelligence. Now, naval intelligence is closely tied to, and for many a springboard into the CIA, and Pete even brags on his own campaign site that while in this role, he took part in black ops in Afghanistan and Iraq with the CIA. So, while working supposedly on economic development in Iraq and Afghanistan for McKinsey and Company, a notoriously evil organization without morals, Mayor Pete is also in naval intelligence working with the CIA performing black ops in those same countries? I'm sorry, guys, but I'm tripping over red flags at this point. We're literally swimming in warning signs, yet we're crazy if we say the obvious thing here. Pete Buttigieg is a CIA plant in a coup for the deep state establishment to regain control of the executive branch of our government. Now, that's the elephant in the room here. The deeper I dig, the more I am convinced that this is true. But of course, I'm just a crazy conspiracy theorist. Well, maybe I am. But this relatively short career of Mayor Pete's that I'm laying out for you shows over and over that this man has no ethics or morals and is a driven, ambitious, and suspiciously blessed individual because of that. If Mayor Pete isn't CIA, the CIA dropped the damn ball. He is exactly what you would get if you built the perfect Manchurian candidate. And I'm telling you now that this Mayor Pete is a wolf in sheep's clothing, funded entirely by the oligarchs, Wall Street, and the military-industrial complex. Now, I don't care how smooth he talks or how many languages he can bullshit me in. Obama talked pretty too, and look where that got us. Mayor Pete is a plant, and I've known that all along, but the deeper I dig, and trust me, conspiracy theories and chill ain't done with Mayor Pete by a damn sight, but the deeper I go, the more convinced I become that there is something much more nefarious going on here. Now, we all know that the CIA assassinated their way into the Oval Office once before, and now they are trying to dupe the American people with the help of their rigged propaganda machine to install their own puppet into the presidency. Wake up. This man's background alone disqualifies him. Now, I intend to expose who Mayor Pete Buttigieg really is and stop this attempt to curb the momentum of the awakening that is happening in this country right now. There is a rising up happening, a real revolution happening, and Mayor Pete has been a distraction of that revolution ever since he announced his candidacy. And I've known since the beginning that that was the only reason he was in this race, was to pull focus, muddy the waters, and distract people, especially about Medicare for all. He has been muddying the waters his entire campaign. And he's trying his best to deceive the voters to vote outside their best interest and vote in the interest of the oligarchs in the military industrial complex. He speaks only for big money and war, and that's why Tulsi destroyed him in the debates on foreign policy. Yet, he is the intelligence community's darling, with hundreds of endorsements from the intelligence community, as well as the almighty military industrial complex, which we all know is deeply embedded in our government and has a hold over our society. Now, the writing is on the wall, and this video may get taken down because of exposing who Mayor Cheat really is. But we must use this tool of the internet for our purposes until we can no more. We must spread the truth to the best of our abilities. It is the only way to fight back, and the only way to fight these lies and this web of deception that we are living in this current reality. Mayor Pete is a wolf in sheep's clothing, and I intend to prove that. I intend to do all I can to prove that. And please spread the truth. Spread the truth that I've exposed in this video about Mayor Pete, and look for more from this channel about this, and defend the truth, and defend independent media. When you find good shows and media, make sure you share them out, and fight for truth and the advancement for humanity in this age of deceit, in this web of lies, when everything around us is upside down, the opposite of what it's saying it is. Look at this candidate, this Mayor Pete, for who he really is. If you don't want to believe me that he's CIA, if you want to believe, oh, I'm a crazy conspiracy theorist for believing that Mayor Pete Buttigieg is a CIA plant, well, then maybe I am, but he is completely bought off. He has proven that he has no morals. He says he worked for that company to gain life experience. What kind of life experience do you gain helping people to lose their jobs, economically restructuring communities, which we all know what that means? And that's what he went on to do as the mayor of South Bend, Indiana. He's wildly unpopular in his own district. I don't think he could win re-election. He lost an election bid for governor of Indiana, and yet he is their front runner. He is the establishment's baby at this point. Why? In what way does it make any sense? And what makes the most sense? Find the truth for yourself. Dig for your own truth. Use this tool of the internet and this wealth of information at our fingertips while we can, before it's taken away from us. Share this video before it's taken down. And if you're... I can wrap that up now. So we got the backstory. We've got some backstory about what I want to talk about. So, where should we begin? Let's start. Oh, I closed it. Let's start with, well, we'll have to start now with his backers. Pete Buttigieg's backers. The big money behind Pete Buttigieg, and most of it is big money. What I was going to show you was an article on how he is accusing the Sanders campaign of dark money. You always accuse your enemy of what you're doing. This app that caused all the failure in Iowa, the Shadow app, was created by a company called Acronym. Now, Acronym says their mission statement is to lead the progressive movement against Donald Trump. This is all bullshit. That's lies. What Acronym really is a organization, a big money organization that is built to destroy the progressive movement. It's made of the same people that ran the Hillary Clinton campaign and rigged the 2016 primary. It's made up of the exact same people. As a matter of fact, Acronym, who is trying to back themselves away from the Shadow app that was used in the Iowa caucus that allowed Pete Buttigieg to get this fake-ass victory over Sanders. This app is ran by Robbie Mook. Robbie Mook was the head of the Hillary campaign. He runs the app that was used to rig the Iowa caucus. Now, I shared this to places that aren't politically aligned with maybe me. But the truth matters. Pete Buttigieg is a CIA plant. But more than that, big money is behind him. And we talked about in the video McKinsey and Company. McKinsey and Company is a management and consulting firm that handles business for some of the most evil people and corporations on this planet. And Pete Buttigieg's campaign donors list includes many top McKinsey employees. Now that's weird because you might just think that's people that work at McKinsey. Well, it's true in two ways. McKinsey is like a cult. You only work there for, 3, 4, 5 years. Buttigieg did 3 years there. If you do a minimum of 3 years at McKinsey, you are a McKinsey alumni. And they take care of each other. They're like skull and bones. It's a secret society. So basically, you come in and you do this evil shit for this company, and go in and make decisions to lay off 30% of a workforce, redistribute property in areas, take away people's homes, make these kind of decisions for big money and foreign governments. Like the McKinsey and Company works for Saudi Arabia, China, probably a lot of other people under the table. There, a lot of the evil organizations in Hollywood films are based on McKinsey and Company. So this is where he comes from. This is who's behind him. Is this evil organization of big money interests. And this acronym group, which this is just a big funder in the acronym group, ProBiz. This article's about how billionaire pro-Israel Buttigieg backer Seth Klarman funds group behind Iowa's disastrous voting app. This guy is a big part of the money behind acronym. Now, as I said, acronym's trying to back away from this. But you'll find this is just all the people that were involved in rigging the 2016 primary. They are all actively working with Buttigieg and helping him through this app to try and steal the caucus and steal the momentum from what's really going on. It's Hillary all over again. This guy they're trying to insert Pete Buttigieg. And it sucks because I lost the two main articles I wanted to go over with you guys and look at. But this McKinsey and Company is a really good place to look when we start going for dirt on Buttigieg, which is exactly what we need to do. We need to get to know people. That's maybe another reason why I named my video what I did, Let's Meet Pete, because we need to get to know this guy. I wasn't taking him seriously enough. But the more you look into him, the dirtier he is. The dirtier it gets. He's filthy. And he's a former lobbyist for the military-industrial complex, as we covered in the video. Still is. He's still in a think tank. The Truman National Society, I believe, if my memory is not failing me. But let me go ahead and take this out, and we'll just sit here and talk. But this dark money thing, it sucks that I dropped the main article I wanted to look at with you guys. This dark money attack, that's what you do. You accuse your opponent of what you're guilty of. Yeah, guys, I see that the counter's working now. For a minute, the counter wasn't working for me. It's weird. And I shared it a bunch of times just to get the counter to work, and it started working again. But it's funny because this is the kind of stuff they don't want anyone to talk about, because this guy is a plant. This is a coup. You know, this is them trying to insert a CIA shill. He claims he's not CIA. He swears up and down he isn't CIA. Well, that of course means he isn't, right? That's what that means. That has to mean that he's not. If he says he's not, well, he also claims that he was in Black Ops, in naval intelligence, and worked with the CIA in Black Ops while working with McKinsey and Company in economic development in those areas. Which is basically figuring out what McKinsey and Company would do in that kind of situation is figure out how to get rid of and silence the poor people, and then sell propaganda to the masses and make them believe that everything's on the up and up. That's what McKinsey would basically do in that situation. That's what their management and consultant firm would do, is do horrible, horrible things and get people to buy them and accept them. So he had to release his list of clients from McKinsey and Company, and I had that pulled up too. But again, ugh, technology, it either helps you or fails you dramatically. And for me, it seems to hate me. It fails me dramatically on a regular basis. But Kathy says it's a coup. Pete Guaido. Pete Guaido. People don't understand that's clever. People don't understand if the government backs a candidate, there is a reason, and it's all about their gravy train. They think that they are going to be able to keep what they want and have under Pete. And they absolutely would be able to. This is a yes man made from scratch, a perfect Manchurian candidate if there's ever been one. Everyone needs to see Pete Buttigieg as the enemy. As I said, I shared this heavily, and I shared it to people that don't agree with me politically. But you are Americans. You are citizens. This matters. This is the CIA trying to install a shill into the executive branch of the government. The more I dig into him, the more convinced I am that he is in intelligence, still in the CIA. He says he interviewed with the CIA and laughs that he bombed the interview. First off, who says that? And how could somebody so damn qualified to be in the CIA bomb that interview? What did he do? Go in there and drop his pants? He would have to have done something spectacular in order to not get that job. You know, that's what's going on here. Is the CIA is trying to pull off a coup. That's why I shared it where I did. Because we all need to care about this. And take him down for whatever reason you take him down for. I really don't care. I have my reasons, you can have yours. It's all in the interest of democracy and America. So, no matter how you feel, they are trying to deceive the American people. They are trying to rig an election again. They used a damn app at a caucus, which entire purpose is transparency. You know, the entire thing is people are supposed to actually be there, and it's all transparent and done right in front of everyone's eyes. And it was. And they took pictures and videos and kept accurate results. And what happens? The DNC has an app for that. For rigging an election, there's an app for that. Well, it turns out that that app is not only funded by the Buttigieg campaign and the DNC and all these elites and the acronym group, but I forgot where I was going with this because I went on to too much of a rant of who was funding this, and I got sideways looking at the comment section. But this Pete Buttigieg is an enemy of everyone. That's what I'm really trying to say. Everyone needs to be concerned because the more I look into him, at first I didn't take him seriously, like I said. I knew he was there to muddy the waters, especially with his Medicare for all who want it. That's just to scare people in order to... He's a propaganda specialist. Now that you look into him, you find out He's a propaganda specialist from one of the best, from one of the ones that will do anything. They have no morals. They'll work for anyone. They'll do propaganda for Saudi Arabia. There is an app for that. But Bernie had an app as well. And Bernie tracked his own results. And even though the media and the DNC are crowning Buttigieg as the winner in Iowa, Bernie was the winner in Iowa. And again, I shared this to political different places. It shouldn't matter. It's an election in this country being rigged. And it might be hilarious because it's the other side, but it shouldn't be. I don't see what's funny. This is an election being rigged in this country. That should matter to absolutely everyone. And it's a fact that it's being done. And it's being done right in our face. To mock us even. Like, because they know we won't do anything about it. Just going to take it. Well, I don't want to take it. And I don't want anyone to let it happen. You know, there's no reason to. And this Pete Buttigieg, he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. We need to get to work exposing him. The ties to intelligence are there. There's no way that this guy is not a CIA shill. I can't prove it, but how could you? You're talking about an organization that's built on lies, professional liars. He has an association to the CIA, and once you're CIA, you're CIA for life. And he's a part of a secret elite cult that you basically have to sell your soul to be a part of. Literally, you have to work for them and do whatever they ask you to do. Now, they're responsible for the propaganda that led to the opioid epidemic. They turbocharged the opioid epidemic. That's the kind of people that McKinsey and Company are. Now, in Buttigieg's own book, he claimed that he had to work for them because he wanted to gain life experience. Now, what kind of life experience did you possibly need to gain other than this lifelong connection to the elite? How else do you explain how a mayor that probably couldn't win a re-election in his own campaign... Gotta wake up. Not us. Not anyone that would be watching this. We gotta wake everyone else up and make them see what this smooth talking, deceitful ass is really doing. He's trying to trick the American people. And he's an expert at it. He's trained in intelligence, and he's also trained in propaganda. This guy's dangerous to everyone. And, you know, some people might not see him as a threat because I really don't think he has any chance of beating Trump. But that's not what they're trying to do. They're trying to defeat the revolution that's going on. They're trying to nip that in the butt and kill that excitement. And I am not dropping my guard. I cannot wait to see what they're going to pull in New Hampshire. You know, we've yet to see it yet, but it's going to be something like this. Now, they say they're not going to use this app in Nevada. What are they going to use now, then? What tricks up their sleeve? You know, I saw a meme where someone was saying there's going to be a stunt in all 49 states. There's 49 traps, like video game stunts set up for Bernie. This is ridiculous, and this needs to matter to everyone, no matter how you feel politically. This is an election in this country being rigged. Jack says they had to say Bernie won. I'm seeing on the media that they're saying it went to Buttigieg by .1%. And they got the same amount of delegates. Bernie won Iowa. Bottom line, by over 6,000 votes. That's if you use their final tally. So It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. And the math they used, the DNC math, that's more complicated than Common Core. This is an election in this country, and this needs to matter to everyone. And doubling down, this is a CIA shill, I guarantee it to you. The more I dig, the more sure I am. Trying to be inserted into the executive branch and being used to gaslight the American people. And just because something's not being used against you at the current moment doesn't mean that it's not going to be. This is professional propaganda from a professional propagandist with interest and ties to Wall Street, the oligarchs, the military industrial complex. This guy is the threat. This is the enemy. And the Hillary campaign and everyone that rigged the 2016 election is behind this man. Pete Buttigieg is a wolf in sheep's clothing and needs to be taken down, torn to shreds. It's not time to ignore Pete. It's time to get very familiar with Pete. We are internet warriors, they say. We've weaponized the internet. Let's dig on this Mayor Pete. And I'm telling you, the McKinsey and Company is a great place to dig. That is a great place to start. And he also worked for the Cohen Group, military lobbying firm. That's a great place. These are great places to dig. But I think we can find a little more with this secret cult society. It's a secret society, McKinsey and Company. Masquerading as a management firm. It's a secret society. So the media is basically still denying Sanders his win in Iowa. And I think they're going with that Buttigieg won. That's what I'm seeing anyway. I don't watch a lot of it though. It's poison. Turn that shit off. The mainstream media. I'm not saying you have to watch me, but watch something like this. Independent media. People doing independent research. Watch that. Don't watch the mainstream media. It's nothing but lies. But I'm gonna dig more in this McKinsey and Company rabbit hole, which is a deep rabbit hole. The deeper you go, and they're like Scientology. It's really hard to find information on McKinsey and Company and what they're really about online. You really only get what their scandals are and things like that, and the things where they've been exposed. But even that is buried. You have to go like 4 or 5 pages deep in Google results to get to anything real on McKinsey and Company. But there is interesting stuff that you do find if you dig hard enough on them, and I'm going to dig deeper. Because even he wrote in his memoir, about working at McKinsey and Company, and about how he felt like he had sold his soul doing that. And why is it something's going wrong on YouTube? But I'm going to push through. But I got distracted. What was I talking about? Somebody save me. Jack says great research. Well, it would have been better if I didn't lose like a lot of the articles I really wanted to go over with you guys, trying to get that video to play. Hopefully the video was beneficial. But the more I dig into him, the more I find. And I'm convinced that he's CIA and a CIA plant. I knew he was there to distract and divide and to misinform especially. I knew that. But I had no idea that he was an expert in it. This guy is a perfect Manchurian candidate, and that's exactly what he is. I'm not being a crazy conspiracy guy. This hat is not made of tinfoil, even though a lot of people may think I need to be wearing one made of tinfoil. This is a coup. This is a coup. So they've shown their hand. They've shown what they intend to do. We still have the same marching orders. Our job is to inform and wake people up. And again, that goes to everyone, no matter how you lay politically. We can have our different views. We can bicker that equally. I want that. I'm in favor of democracy. But we need to embrace and defend democracy itself. And it's being undermined in real time. And they're trying to insert a CIA shill into the presidency. So this matters to everyone. And that's why I shared it the way I did. So hopefully people aren't mad at me. The place that I shared it that would be mad, I didn't mean to do a watch party, but I realize now that I did. And that is Facebook's fault. I just like you guys because you're about truth. And Facebook makes it too easy to start a watch party. When you're live and you're sharing and you're just hitting share to group, you accidentally start watch parties on accident all the time. I do it all the time. Jack says you should have had 420 beforehand. It's always 420, Jack. It's always 420. But I wanted to get that out. I want to get it out about Pete and his background. He has quite a background. For someone only 37 years old, he's quite ambitious. Almost robotic, you know? And the more you dig into him, the more suspicious he is. And his expertise, with this Truman National Society, he has an online listing with them because he's I forget what they call it, a formal member. His expertise is in Afghanistan and Pakistan. And he's backed by all these Israeli Zionist oligarchs. Think about all that. This guy is evil, walking around smiling in your face. I'm telling you. This guy is the one you've been talking about, the one you've been waiting for. This guy's been groomed and is going to perform as if this rigging isn't even happening. Look at him now. Like they ask him about Iowa, you just get a sheepish little smile. He knows what the fuck went on. He knows exactly what went on. He knows how it went on. He's behind how it went on. He was part of what designed. The Shadow app was designed by Shadow, which is half of Hillary's campaign, and Acronym, which is the money half of Hillary's campaign. And all the people that were behind Hillary, which is just the damn establishment. That's all that is. So the same damn people are behind the rigging for Pete in Iowa. So they've shown their hand. Bernie letting them present the results and not letting them know that he had counter results was brilliant because they've shown their hand now. They've shown everything. They show this is where they plan to go. So now we all have our marching orders. Everyone on either side. This is who we take down. We need to all come after Pete Buttigieg. Because he's worse than Hillary Clinton. Because everybody could tell Hillary Clinton was evil. This guy's good at selling himself as just a real polished, educated, well-informed, well-spoken gay man that everyone needs to respect because he's a military veteran, and you should vote for him because he has your best interest at heart because he's really good at bullshitting you and he can do it in 7 different languages. But Jack says you need to get a hold of Nina, brother. Nina Turner? Yeah, I would love to get a hold of Nina or Ben. We are the voice. But we have to be the news and the press and the media too. In this whole awakening. In this whole thing. And that's another thing that group understands where I share this as a watch party. You guys know who you are. That's another thing they understand. That we have to take control and be the media and spread the truth and do the digging. We have to do the due diligence. So I'm telling you where to look. I'm looking there myself. I'm going to dig deeper. I'm going to try to find all I can on Pete. I'm going to expose what's going on. They're not going to get away with this. This is not 2016. It's not going to happen again. You're not going to rig an election right in front of everyone's face again. It's not going to happen. Can't allow it. I don't care how you feel politically. We cannot allow this to happen. This cannot continue. So, thanks for watching this, guys. And I got something planned a little later on in the day. I just wanted to expose Mayor Pete. So, let's get to know him. Let's really get to know Pete and share with people who he really is. Let's not allow this to happen. We don't need to let them sell a lie and install a CIA puppet. We don't have to allow this to let them rig an election. This matters. This should matter to everybody. It's not funny. Just because they're not coming for you doesn't mean they won't. And you see it being done, to someone over there, and you don't say anything, it can eventually be done to you, now can't it? So it needs to matter to everyone. This is our democracy that we're trying to restore. So no matter how you feel, you see it being undermined and you need to speak up. Just like you would for the Second Amendment or the First Amendment or anything else that's dear to you. This is democracy being undermined. It needs to matter to everybody. And on top of that, a layer on top of that, is this is a CIA shill being pushed on the American people through big money and shady tactics. They're trying to rig an election again and insert their candidate again. Are we going to allow it? Are we going to let that happen? I don't think that we should. We need to do everything we can to make this stop. This madness stop. We're living in a dystopian world at this point. We can't continue down this road. No matter how you guys feel, on both sides, we need to at least unite on certain things. That the media is a bunch of lies and a distractive, divisive tactic to take us all down. We need to unite on the fact that our government is rigged up, corrupt to its core. We need to tear that all down and we need to build it back up together. We can disagree. That's another reason why a lot of times I share the way I do. Because I don't want to talk to people that just agree with me. I don't want everybody bowing their head and just like, oh yeah, you're right. I want pushback. And I want to hear if you disagree. I want to come together. I want us to unite. Because that's when we're strong. When the people unite in our own best interest and move forward together. That's what makes us strong. That's when we're strong. And Jack, you're right. We will not stop. And I don't know what you said hell no to, but I bet I agree with that too. Sometimes the comments hit me a little late. There's like about a 30, 45 second delay when what you say or what I'm saying hits you. So, but thanks for coming and hanging out with me a little bit. And please, please, please dig into Pete and send me what you find. Let me know. Keep digging into this guy. Expose him for who he is. It's out there. We have a wealth of information at our fingertips. We need to use the internet while we have it. Kathy says, lost your stream. We need to use the internet while it's something we can use. And I don't think you lost my stream, Kathy. I think what I'm talking about and the things I'd like to talk about are things people don't want people to hear. And so no matter how hard I try to get the technical difficulties to go away, I'm pulsed and throttled. And I know it's true because I'm looking at my stream settings, and I've been looking at them, and they have been solid and consistent this whole time. My frames per second have never dropped under 30, and anything that's happened, any lagging that's gone on, I've done everything I can to fix that stuff. I'm being messed with, and I know that's true. But I will do more. They won't stop me. Like I said, even if I eventually end up out on a shortwave radio out of my garage like William Cooper, I'm going to keep trying to spread the truth and keep trying to do all I can to wake people up. But thanks for hanging out with me for a little while. And like I said, let's dig into Mayor Pete. Let's get this guy. Don't let this happen. No matter how you feel, we need to inform everyone about what's really going on here. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I'll see you guys later on.